Whew, I'm not feeling too well, guys. So if you hear me talking like I'm trying to steal your girl, that is not the case. I don't even think I'm that capable. Anyhow, the biggest question today is what happened to the 10 million voters that Joe Biden got but didn't come for Kamala Harris? I'm sorry for the background noise.
But voting fraud this time. It seems to me that Republicans claim voting fraud and election integrity when you lose and not when you win.
No, I mean, again, as I said before, this election, I think, was the greatest political comeback we've ever seen. I mean, he did something that even Teddy Roosevelt couldn't do, for goodness sake. And the country.
But you think it was a free and fair election?
No. This election, you just interviewed the Latino, I think, restaurant owner or a restaurant worker, and he said he was tired of all the woke stuff. This election was real simple. You had back-to-back administrations. We got something we very seldom get in American history, American politics. Back-to-back administrations now running for the top job, and people could do a direct comparison. And they said, we like what we had under President Trump versus.
But last time around,
we like the safe streets versus the record
last
crime.
time around, your leader claimed that there were problems with
secure
fraud.
Border versus the open border.
Right. Those are policies.
That's what this election was about.
That's totally fair. But last time around, it wasn't so much about the policy differences or the personality differences. There were false claims about election fraud when Donald Trump lost. This time, Donald Trump won, and you think the election was free and fair. You see, there's a little bit of a.
No, I think the Democrats got to ask, why did we go from getting 81 million to getting 70 million? What happened to those 10 million people? Maybe maybe it's not smart to run an election where you have no vision, no record to run on.
Do you believe
that
the 2024
names?
Do you believe that the 2024 election was free and fair?
I do.
And why was it different from 2020 when he lost? Is that the only difference?
No, there were concerns about 2020 with all the mail-in voting that happened. You know, Pennsylvania had like 2-point-something million mail-in ballots come in without any signature verification, which was required under Pennsylvania statute. So there were all kinds of concerns with how the 2020 election was carried out. But
there was absolutely
the biggest question Democrats need to be asking, what happened to the 10 million voters that Joe Biden got that didn't come out for Kamala Harris? A bunch of them, President Trump's numbers were right up where they were in 2020, but the Democrats were much lower. I think it's because they had no vision, no record to run on, and they just wanted to call everyone names. Turns out when you tell people, oh, you're fascist, racist, deplorable garbage, they don't like that. And then when you use lawfare to go after their candidate, they don't like that either. Well, that's why they came out. So on top of the economy, on top of the price of gas, on top of the inflation, that's why they voted for President Trump.
We're out of time.
I'm not gonna lie, these people will forever amaze me. The level of delusion that they all have in common is too. I wouldn't even say it's to be admired, man. It's admirable in the sense of the loyalty aspect of it. Like they are sticking to that.
Fraud this time.
Excuse me. But yeah, man, all Democrats should be investigated and charged if the evidence confirms it for money laundering, grifting, and other financial crimes. If you ask me, let's read some of these comments. It says Jim Jordan knows what we know, and also what the DNC paid shills in the media to know. The 2020 election was completely more like what happened to the 10 million ballots. No one has ever seen those voters in person. Yes, even, voters were unalive. Most of his votes were unalive people. That's interesting. Yeah, but I know y'all gonna be asking me how I'm doing in the comments. I'm fine. Just woke up a little cold. It seems like trying to come on, throat hurting right now and whatever the case. So I'm not trying to do too much, but I'm in good spirits. I'm not like over here wild up and nothing like that. Somebody says they never compared the difference. This election, at least for the president, didn't take 2 days to count. The results were the same night. Too big to egg for sure. So yeah, Joe Biden should resign and make Harris the first female president is their new tactic.
He is looking for. That is my question. I'll start with you.
Joe Biden has been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill, being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days. Make Kamala Harris the president of the United States.
Whoa.
It would absolve her from being able to from having to oversee the January 6th transition, right, of her own defeat, and it would make sure that it would dominate the news at a point where Democrats have to learn drama and transparency and doing things that the public want to see. Is the time. This is the moment for us to change the entire perspective of how Democrats
Okay, this
operate.
has now jumped from an internet meme to a Sunday morning show.
Jamal's out here right now.
Congratulations.
Season of House of Cards.
I thought you were going to say, what about the Supreme Court? That's also out there.
Well, the Supreme Court might happen. I don't know if it will, but I think this is something.
Well, if that's the case, drop all charges against J6 protest prisoners. Really? What? Come on, dog. What are y'all trying to do? Y'all just salty because he about to be the 47th president and y'all want to take that away because he got a whole lot of hats. That's 45, 47. Yeah, man.
Active form of protest you have right now.
What is going on? Why the video just play? I didn't even play that video. Excuse me, y'all. But yeah, sure, make the first woman president completely symbolic and meaningless. I'm sure most women would love that, and it won't backfire at all. Somebody wrote, yeah, what an insult. Y'all really trying to install this woman for what purpose, though? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't get it. Kamala's definitely got to certify Trump's election. I'll tell you that. They've been trying to say that she can take it back just by, doing a recount or something like that. Oh my God! Somebody said I thought CNN was supposed to report news, not become the politically biased, shove our ideas down your throat talk show. Yeah, it's definitely. I wouldn't even call it a sophisticated The View, but anyhow. Let's watch some more meltdowns. Brutal words for her fellow liberals from Democrats strategist Julie on CNN. I don't even want to tell y'all know how I be messing up names.
No, I'm going to speak some hard truths to my friends in the Democratic Party. This is not Joe Biden's fault. It's not Kamala Harris's fault. It's not Barack Obama's fault. It is the fault of the Democratic Party in not knowing how to communicate effectively to voters. We are not the party of common sense, which is what the message that voters sent to us. For a number of reasons, we don't know how to speak to voters. When we address Latino, and language has meaning. When we address Latino voters as Latinx, for instance, because that's the politically correct thing to do. It makes them think that we don't even live on the same planet as they do. When we are too afraid to say that, hey, college kids, if you're trashing a campus at Columbia University, because you're unhappy about some sort of policy and you're taking over a university and you're trashing it and preventing other students from learning, that is unacceptable. But we're so worried about alienating one or another cohort in our coalition that we don't know what to say when normal people look at that and say, wait a second, I send my kids to college so they can learn, not so that they can burn buildings and trash lawns, right? And so on and so forth. When we put pronouns after names, and say she, her, as opposed to saying, you know what, if I call you by the wrong pronoun, call me out. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. But stop with the virtue signaling and just speak to people like they're normal. There's nothing I'm going to say to Sher Michael that I'm not going to say to you, that I'm not going to say to somebody else. I speak the same language to everybody. But that's not what Democrats do. We constantly try to parse out different ways of speaking to different cohorts because our focus groups or our polling shows that so-and-so appeals to such and such. That's not how normal people think. It's not common sense. And we need to start being the party of common sense again. Joe Biden is not responsible for that. Neither is Kamala Harris. It is a problem that Democrats have had for years. I've been banging the drum on this for, I don't know how, probably 10 years, if not longer on this. We need to get back to being the party of common sense, that people look at us and say, we understand you. We appreciate what you say because you speak our language. And until we do that, we should stop blaming other people for our own mistakes.
The sad part is we were sitting there telling the Democrats straight to their face what their problem is. Like, quite literally, we're going, hey, the name calling scenario isn't going to just always work in your favor. We're adults now. We're kind of past that. And everybody that disagrees with you is not a fascist or, a Marxist. And actually, you might find yourself to be more of that. Anyhow. But yeah, they ran on just fear mongering and scare tactics and trying to bully America into voting for Kamala Harris as opposed to speaking on real policy, real issues. And now this is the result and they can't take it. You just hate to see it, as this post suggests. The knives are out following Democrats' humiliating losses this week. Meet the press.
Democrats now grappling with their stunning loss and trying to figure out what went wrong. Had the president gotten out sooner, there may have been other candidates in the race. Kamala, I think, still would have won, but she may have been stronger having taken her case to the public sooner.
I think people never got to know Kamala Harris during the time she was in this campaign.
If the goal is to win elections on Twitter, then you should embrace movements like defund the police. But if the goal is to win elections in the real world, where it matters, then you have to appeal to working class people of color.
The party itself has increasingly become a smarty pants, suburban, college educated party.
I take issue sometimes with people saying, oh, the quote unquote left is the reason why this is happening. The ultimate problem is our ability to clearly and forthrightly advocate for an agenda that clearly champions the working class.
Joe Biden's decision to run for president again was a catastrophic mistake.
But we can all unite in knowing that Joe Biden would have lost and deserves a lot of blame for the situation that we're in.
Yeah, man, I don't see why they just can't see it. It just ain't making sense to me. I don't know, man. Like, we lost because of this and we lost because of that. Whatever. Now, we know that these Democrats are unhinged right now and protesting in various ways. They have somebody cutting their hair. I mean, women are cutting their hair. They're deciding to go celibate. Yeah, man. Some are saying they're going to wait until marriage before they decide to have intercourse again. I'm over like, wow, you sound like you're restoring decency, low key. Go for it. And then on top of that, it's a whole fleet of people that we don't want, So, I mean, you already was... Okay. There was a whole segment of Democrat women who are planning to wear blue bracelets for the next 4 years. I think this is an amazing idea so we can identify emotionally unstable people to avoid them. They should keep wearing masks too. I mean, you really never can be too safe. This is a comment from Robbie Starbuck.
So I hear that white women are using blue bracelets to signal to people, to especially Black and brown women, that we are safe. But I also want to put out there, while this is great for people to be able to kind of seek people out, that safety from a Black and brown woman is their own assessment. How do they feel in my presence? How, based on the things that I show up for in my life, am I a safe woman? I don't get to decide that I'm a safe woman. Black and brown women get to decide that I'm a safe woman. And I just wanted to put that out there, that safety is relative. There may be many, many, many Black and brown women who feel safe in my presence, and there may be some that I have encountered that do not. And that is okay. So I just want you to know, safety is up to the person who is more vulnerable in the situation. So good luck. Make lots of blue bracelets because I think they deserve to feel safe, but they get to decide.
Well, I'll stop there. Hell, they need to go ahead and do blue hair too, so that, just in case I missed the bracelet. Ooh, excuse me. I can't even laugh. My bad. But yeah, they are saving us interpretation time saving priceless gifts. You feel me? And if we can identify who you are, just being able to look at cool, I'm with it. We going, oh, that's woke. And go this way. It's awesome. Identify yourselves. We with it, making it easy to avoid the Karenism, the TDS. Yeah. I like that idea.